Well, thanks for joining us here on KARE 11 News at noon. In a second, you're going to notice we're nobody that you recognize. We are completely
the new newbies.
The new newbies. Everyone's off today. Everyone's out. Everyone's doing something, hopefully something fun. So you got Audrey, Jamie, and myself today. And we've got a lot to cover. Some of it very serious, some of it interesting and fun. We're going to go over some crime in Minneapolis. And Audrey, also, we're following some new charges from the 4th of July. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody remembers that pandemonium that went down. More charges are coming down in just minutes, but we've got to look at what some of the suspects are facing already in terms of charges and possible penalties.
And what's happening in court today. All right, let's talk about what's happening in the weather today. Another sunny one out there.
It is starting out absolutely sunny. We're going to be temperatures near normal, but we're going to be waiting for those thunderstorms to pop yet again. We don't have big systems that are really firing anything at us, but when you look to the southeast, the lower right-hand corner of your screen, that's cloud cover coming off the remnants of what was Tropical Storm Beryl. So we are seeing a little bit of that cloud cover, but we are waiting for those isolated storms like yesterday to begin to pop, expecting that through the afternoon hours. So I'll be timing that out for you coming up here in a few minutes. But right now, taking a look outside, a few fair weather clouds, 83. That dew point, well, we're still sitting near 60 with the dew point. So you'll notice humidity out there, but it's not going to feel that oppressive mugginess. That's coming up later in the 7-day forecast. But in the meantime, like I said, for the afternoon, we'll be watching the skies, watching the radar, because we are expecting to see some of those isolated to spotty cells popping up, probably producing some pretty decent rainfall underneath them. But again, these are going to be kind of like the needle in the haystack, not a big widespread event, but some of us are definitely going to get some heavy rainfall on that yard once again. So we'll time that out coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Jamie. We're getting brand new information from MPD in a story that we've been following all morning. Police are looking for suspects behind two shootings just hours apart in the same block of North Minneapolis. According to MPD, the first incident happened around 7:30 last night. Officers say a man was walking on the 2000 block of Emerson Avenue North when someone drove by and fired at him. He is expected to survive. 4 hours later, police say they came to the same location to find another man who was shot, this time with serious injuries. Police say that man was standing in an alley when he was hit. Again, no arrests have been made. Michelle Beck was at the scene this morning with a look at that and the latest crime numbers in the city.
That investigation we saw in North Minneapolis comes right on the heels of a violent weekend in the city, plus 3 people being shot outside a cabaret downtown early morning yesterday. All this a setback given violence has been dropping in downtown neighborhoods, to which the police chief credits a, quote, very robust late-night safety plan. We also know citywide year-to-date numbers have gone down for things like homicide offenses and shots fired calls. MPD data I pulled this morning show that drop in the last 3 years.
Keep that from happening as much as possible, and to make sure that that the trend lines are broadly positive, and that's what we're experiencing so far. Layered strategy, everything from our partnerships with law enforcement to street outreach, violence prevention, interrupters.
One of those interrupters include the group known as Mad Dads, working to get out into the streets and getting involved that way, stopping any violence before it can even happen. In Minneapolis, Michelle Beck, KARE 11 News.
A U.S. District Court has denied a request to drop the case linked to the MPD shooting of Amir Locke. About 2 hours ago, the office of the attorney Ben Crump released a statement saying the court found Locke's parents can move forward with the lawsuit. In February 2022, Minneapolis police officer Mark Hanneman shot and killed the 22-year-old while carrying out a search warrant. Locke's parents are now suing the city and the officer, saying they violated their son's rights. In just over an hour, we're expected to see more charges linked to the violence that broke out in Minneapolis over the 4th of July. Several people were arrested and have already faced a judge. And Audrey is joining us now to talk about what we can expect in court today. Audrey?
Yeah, Irina, in about an hour and a half, 5 suspects will face a Hennepin County District Court judge around 1:30 this afternoon. They're accused of causing some of the 4th of July mayhem, but prosecutors say they are not the only ones. The Hennepin County Attorney's Office tells us that they want to charge 20 people with second-degree rioting. According to court documents, there were multiple large groups setting off commercial-grade fireworks throughout Dinkytown. Now, those fireworks were aimed at buildings, cars, and at police officers. Police claim one person lit a mortar and threw it under a parked car. When it exploded, a nearby officer was hurt, fortunately not severely. Now, a second-degree rioting charge is a felony. It carries a penalty of about 5 years in jail. At least one defendant is also charged with fleeing a peace officer. Now, one thing that's notable here, only one suspect due in court today has a Minneapolis address. I'll have more on that coming up in the next half hour. But again, Rena, unlike 2 years ago and last year, no one was seriously injured in this situation.
At least there's that good thing to look forward to. All right, thank you, Audrey. Appreciate it. Well, the U of M Department of Public Safety is asking you to keep an eye out for this 12-year-old. UMPD says Amaya Whitefeather, also known as Ray, was last seen yesterday on the St. Paul campus. They have shoulder-length dark brown hair and dark brown eyes. If you have any information on the whereabouts, you are asked to call 612-624-COPS. The Minneapolis Police Department is a step closer to a new contract. The proposed agreement is now headed to the full city council. It comes after the public had another chance to comment during a committee meeting yesterday. The 3-year tentative deal gives officers a nearly 22% raise and implements some reforms. Some members of the community say those reforms don't go far enough. A full council vote on whether to approve the deal will be next Thursday. Well, today, police in Winona are apologizing after an emergency alert was mistakenly sent out for an active shooter yesterday, leading to a lot of confusion. Let's verify what really happened.
We now know police were searching for a suspect in an assault that happened around 5:20 p.m. At 6:32, Winona County Emergency Management issued a shelter in place. Hundreds reported getting the alert, and there were many reports on social media of an active shooter. Emergency Management then posted on Facebook the alert was sent to too wide of an area. Just before 8, police said the shelter in place had been lifted. 90 minutes later, they found the suspect they were looking for and took him into custody. So we can verify, yes, there was a shelter in place, but only for a small portion of Winona. And reports of an active shooter were false because an alert platform not used by law enforcement mistakenly sent it out.
Yes.
Plans for a new Lino Lakes development that would add housing and a mosque to the area are now on hold. The city council officially approved a 1-year moratorium on development in that area. The project's developers called the proposal unfair, saying it is being motivated by race. They've also said they will consider a lawsuit. Councilmember Michael Rowland says the city needs more time to study the area and the impact it would have on traffic and utilities. Let's take a live look right now at Capitol Hill, where world leaders are on their first day of a NATO summit. One of their key discussions is expected to be whether to add Ukraine to that organization. The Biden administration promises NATO will reveal the steps Ukraine needs to take to become a member. 3 sources say documents allude to the idea of the country's path to the group being irreversible. Still, the former U.S. Special Representative for Ukraine negotiations says it doesn't mean that they'll get membership anytime soon.
We've had now since 2008, 16 years of NATO saying Ukraine will be a member someday, but not really taking the step to invite them. That's what's going to happen again. They worry that if we bring them into NATO now, we have an obligation to go to war ourselves to fight to protect them.
In the meantime, U.S. officials say NATO has other plans to help Ukraine. Today, millions of people in Texas are dealing with the aftermath of Beryl. At least 7 people were killed in the powerful storm, and nearly 3 million more lost power. NBC's Kathy Park is in Houston, where cleanup is underway.
Texas is now in recovery mode after taking a direct hit from Beryl yesterday. The storm is now being blamed for at least 7 deaths, including one victim who is an employee with the Houston Police Department. We're told that this employee was trying to head to work early yesterday morning when he got caught in the floodwaters. Meanwhile, nearly 2 million customers are still without power. And today, this is what we're looking at. A lot of residents are dealing with a big cleanup ahead. We're told that this massive tree fell down some point yesterday afternoon, blocking off the roadway. But as you can see, still a lot of cleaning up to do throughout the day today. We are told that crews will be out working around the clock. City officials are encouraging people to avoid any sort of unnecessary travel so that they can move forward with the restoration process. But of course, the big headline that we are tracking, the ongoing power outages. Once again, hundreds of thousands of customers still without power. We were told by CenterPoint Energy the goal is to restore roughly 1 million customers by the end of day tomorrow. But right now we are baking in this heat. This heat is sweltering. It will be continuing throughout the coming days. We will stay in the 90s today. The heat index will reach 105. So this is just adding insult to injury, especially with those who do not have power. Back to you.
Small Twin Cities nonprofits caring for animals are looking for new ways to move forward now that a crucial program is cut. The Animal Humane Society says they face a $3.5 million budget deficit this year, and it's leading to some changes. The AHS has stopped providing free spay and neuter services for trap, neuter, return, or TNR cats. Two rescue organizations and independent trappers relied on that program to cover those costs. Instead of it being free, it'll now cost about $75 per cat.
For independent trappers, I mentioned that I trap about 150 to 200 cats a year. So at $75 per cat, that's in excess of $15,000 that I would need to fund out of my own pocket.
Rescues are now voicing their concerns about a potential surge in community cats. The Humane Society says the change was not an easy decision. Pet Project Rescue is holding an emergency fundraiser to get through kitten season this year, and we'll have the link to that on KARE11.com. Big news for film buffs. Minneapolis is officially putting in a bid to host the Sundance Film Festival in 2027. As part of its proposal, the city developed a host committee, which includes Mayor Fry and CEOs from Target, Best Buy, and U.S. Bank. The host committee expects to offer $2 million annually to sustain and expand the festival. According to Deadline.com, a decision on the host city for 2027 isn't expected until the end of next year.